We are back. We've got TL2, the BBL Drizzy, Cameron here on the Pitchmark Collective episode. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Teddy, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat here real quick. Something I thought of when our intro song was playing. I'm sure you know the first two clips in the song and what player those are associated to, correct?
And BBL Drizzy?
No, in our intro song, pal.
Oh. Yeah.
So they're gonna go nuts when he hits this, Tiger Woods, and then in your life have you ever Tiger Woods? Do you know the third one? It's not Tiger Woods.
So I was listening to the beat. I did not listen to the words. Can you just tell me what the words are, and then we can go from there? Okay.
Yeah. So it is the guy saying, "Is it his time?" Yes. Like if you don't get it, and when I tell you who it is, then you're going to be like, "Oh, yeah."
Do you have a year?
I want to say it's 04?
04?
Yeah, let me see.
Is it his time?
Yeah, 04.
I'm not sure. That kind of made it a little more difficult. Yeah, I don't know.
You ready?
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson's first major win.
Of course.
Told you. Word for word.
Of course. Interesting.
I was just searching around like clips and stuff like to send to the guy who produced the intro, and I'm like, not like the biggest Phil.
We're big time, and we have a producer.
Yeah. Definitely not some guy I went to high school with who makes music. Definitely not that. It was somebody well known. Anyways,
we can plug his mixtape at the end of this episode.
I really liked the clip. You know, he hit a nice shot. He had to make the putt, and he made the putt, which leads me to, the Genesis Scottish Open. I think it was the perfect finish to any sort of golf tournament, right? You always love to see the long birdie putt go in, seal the deal. Great call at the end on the broadcast. Guy yelling, "Great Scott!" Perfect, because Bobby Mac is Scottish.
Checks out.
Let me back up a little bit, Teddy. What did you play golf this week?
I did play golf. Unfortunately, it was Sunday. So I was a little disappointed. I was just kind of watching the end of the tournament on Twitter and my sports betting book. I would have rather done that than play golf. We just played a shitty course, like the Muni that's in Gainesville.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that enjoyable. It's overpriced, and it's built in a swamp, so it was hot as shit. So
muggy. Is it too hot right now for like mosquitoes and stuff during the middle of the day?
In the middle of the day, yes. The unfortunate thing, this particular course, the way they built it, they kept a lot of the trees, especially on the outside perimeter. So like once you get into a couple pockets, it's just dead. There's no breeze whatsoever. And because it's the only public course in Gainesville, just packed all the time.
It's the only public course in Gainesville?
Correct.
I've never been to Gainesville. How many people live in Gainesville?
I don't know. It's the college.
I know it's a huge college town, right? But
yeah, so it makes it difficult. I'm not 100% sure. But there used to be a few others, but they've closed down or gotten sold or are in foreclosure. So
are there any prominent, like, if you were to just name off a private course, would I know it in Gainesville, like type of courses?
No. No.
No.
There is one. There's one private course.
So
Okay.
the golf is just extremely limited. It's not even.
Yes. Most
Gotcha.
of the time, people will travel, and we used to do it all the time. We would just drive to Ocala because there's 15 courses that are decent,
Yeah.
and
Speaking
it
of,
was 45 minutes.
shout out to our avid listener Tim Hunt, Ocala native. I'm going to call him.
Yes.
Great guy. Great PE teacher, gym teacher. Anyways, Tim, thanks for listening.
He's getting back into high school coaching as well.
Yes, yeah, he just took that job. I don't know what high
Yeah.
school. Best of luck.
Forest High School.
Forest High School in Florida,
Forest High School. Yes.
Ocala.
Ocala, Florida. Cam, did you know that Tim made it to where the school that I went to wasn't able to compete in the county championship anymore? Did
What
you
do you
know
mean?
that?
What do
So
you
we
mean?
used to Marion County it's a pretty large county. There's a lot of schools, and so every year we would have a end of the year like county championship before like districts and regionals and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I won it my freshman year, and then the following year they voted all of the public school teachers. They voted to keep out private schools from competing in the county championship. So then I couldn't compete in the county championship anymore after that.
Tim Hunt.
And Tim voted for that.
He voted for that.
He was supportive of that happening.
Yeah, Tim, that's not cool, man.
Awful.
You honestly, Tim, you probably derailed Teddy's golf trajectory for his career.
Not saying, just saying.
That's what they're saying. We're not saying that, but they are.
That's what the blogs have picked up the story and they're running with it, and that's what they're saying.
Yeah, Tim, that's not cool, dude. We're talking cool. Directly to you, Tim Hunt. All right. Tim will have his chance to defend himself.
We'll bring him on the pod at some point.
Yeah, absolute despicable behavior from what I thought was a good guy. But, I mean, Teddy, one thing to comment on your story is that I am very unsurprised to hear you went to a private school.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more to it.
Was it all throughout your childhood you went private, or is it just like high school?
Majority of it. My parents, my mom started to work at the school, and so it was free for me to go there. So why
wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes time for my son to go to school, I'm gonna be like, Sarah, you should definitely go get hired at a private school, please.
I mean, the pay wasn't worth the school that I went to. It was not like that large compared to a couple of the others in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom didn't really make much, but I was able to go to school for free, and also just the way the schedules worked, it was way easier.
You got a private school education for free. You won a golf tournament your freshman year that ultimately was derailed by Tim Hunt. I mean, I say overall it was a good decision for your mom to start working there.
Yeah. And then somebody looking like me, I was able to play basketball and everything. So, I mean, that worked out.
Teddy holds the Florida state record for private schools, 3-pointers missed.
That might not be far off, but I was ranked very highly in the county for made 3-pointers.
There you go.
There is that.
Which, if you recall, listeners, Marion County was a decent-sized county that Teddy said. So, all right, Teddy, we are far off the track here. Let's get us back on. Teddy and I looked at each other. He said, hey, it's going to be us for a while. Justin's not here right now. He's having a air conditioning emergency, and he said he might be able to hop on. Oh, I see him coming. He's back. He's going to be full of emotion. He's here. Justin, his tagline says anti-3-putt, but he does it plenty in his rounds. Just follow him on the Grint. You'll be able to see his 37 putts.
That is just the meanest introduction, man. I'm going to go back to sweating my ass off without getting insulted right away. Damn.
So we just recapped pretty much all of Teddy's childhood. So we're not going to go back to that. But
Justin, we're just shy of 10 minutes in. So,
just shy.
That's good.
What's the damage looking like, Justin? What did old Donnie have to say?
Donnie said that with this old of a system, you pretty much have to replace the AC and the furnace system, and it'll cost an extra $2,000 if I have them do it 2 times because they have to pull different permits, and then it's the installation of putting the new AC
2
unit
trip
with
charges.
there and everything. He's like, honestly, I would just do it
All in
at
one.
one time. And he was like, and unfortunately, I'm looking at it, and based on the size of your house, I think they like put a smaller system in than they should have. So it's probably been working pretty hard this entire time.
What's the tonnage of your current unit?
I don't know. I didn't even look.
Jesus Christ.
That is
Where
one
like
Christmas.
it's 20 years old. Where are you gonna find it? It's probably just gone. Like you know?
Yeah, like where would I find the tonnage besides asking?
There's no data plate?
Donnie? What? I don't even know.
There's
what
no.
the... Shut
Did you
up,
try
Teddy.
picking it up? Did you try picking it up?
Yeah, you didn't try like digging it out, did you? Like removing it from where it's at?
Yeah,
You could have picked it up.
So
Teddy, you know
Probably-
this. What is like a standard like
2,000 square foot house need.
yeah,
Pretty
like
So,
what kind of
yeah, I
tonnage are we
mean-
looking at here, bud?
You probably are gonna look. You're looking at a 2-ton unit, train carrier. I'm not sure what the prevailing supplier is in Bend, Oregon. But yeah, I mean, now when we were talking pricing earlier, I did not know that you had a furnace as well, so that may change
Doesn't
the price.
everything have a furnace?
Well, so it's a little bit different up north.
Oh yeah, because in Florida you don't need heaters, right?
No, so most of the time you have a heat strip that's attached
Just
to
swamp
the
coolers.
unit. Yeah, so the furnace is a little bit different. Yeah, I'm gonna bump my 11 and a half is gonna be my price that I'm telling you.
11.5.
What
That's
is
That's a lot
what-
of drivers. And
what's
a lot of
Donnie?
upgraded
What's
clubs.
what's Donnie telling you?
He's doing it right now, so he's gonna like walk
Jesus
around.
Christ! There's another man in your home, and you're here on a podcast.
I am. Yeah, I was like, you know what? There's a fan right under my desk that's like blowing cold air right up my shorts, and I'm gonna go stand there. I'm sorry.
That's
And
fair.
and that's your one piece of too much information for the podcast.
Facts.
Justin's hot, but his nuts are not. So
Yeah.
Justin,
this went
we're
straight real quick.
we're excited to hear about this quote that you're going to get from Donnie. If I were you, I would just start lining up, maybe 2-3 more guys to come out tomorrow just so you can compare.
Yeah. Well, I did. He built some houses in the area, and he was like, honestly, who you've got coming over, best reputation in town, and I've had him do a system in 2 other houses, and if I had to redo mine, I'd use them. It's like, all right, that makes you feel a little bit better.
Strong referral for Donnie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's got that going for him.
So,
All right, let's talk
yeah.
some golf.
How's
Justin-
Donnie's year, by the way?
This is not the same Donnie.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Justin found out Donald Trump got shot like 6 hours after it happened because he was boondoggling on vacation. Hey, speaking of, I heard you played some golf. Where'd you play?
Oh yeah, Highlands Golf Club. Man, I tried to take some pictures and videos and stuff like that. So I posted a reel this morning of it. Cool little pro shop. Like you're literally driving in the middle of Gearhart, Oregon, which is it's like on the coast, obviously, but it's kind of paralleling the ocean. And all of a sudden you take this turn in and you just see like 3 holes. And then there's the ocean. It's really cool. They've got an elk as a logo. So they've got some pretty cool like branded gear that you could buy.
Time out. I'm going to stop you. I'm kind of a big fan of like an elk or a deer. The antlers, the rack. I like that in a logo. Tobacco Road.
Like a good rack.
Yeah, always been a fan of a good rack.
Big rack guy.
Whether it's like a white-tailed deer or ribs, like I'm there for the big rack. So
Or a deaf girl on Instagram.
yeah, definitely. Okay.
It just screws
Deep
up
cut.
every conversation.
I fully regret
Deep cut.
interrupting you, Justin, after we have tracked down this way, but continue on. You see 3 holes. They got a cool little pro shop.
Yeah,
Deer,
and it's
elk in the logo.
Would it be considered because it's not an executive course because there was 5 par 4s and 4 par 3s. Is that an executive course or is it just a short course?
Is it just 9 holes?
Yeah, just 9 holes.
5
par
par
fours.
fours.
Short course. I call it a short course.
So first hole is kind of like a dog leg, right? You kind of go through some trees, which is interesting. There is a tennis court on the other side of those trees, though. I can guarantee that whoever plays tennis in those courts has gotten hit by multiple golf balls, because that is the first place that my second golf ball went that I hit just messing around, because they don't have a range, right? So kind of just go out there, and someone didn't show up, so they're like, oh yeah, you and your daughter can go out, and I was like, cool. So it was only $29 for the round of golf, so I was like,
Decent.
sweet. Then they had the Seamus coins there, so I bought a Seamus coin. I'll have to take a picture of it.
So par 32 on the 9.
Yeah, par 31 actually. So maybe
31.
it was.
I'm calling that executive, because if you double that, you're at par 62, and that typically is where executive courses come.
Valid. You've got a reason behind it now.
That's kind of my thought. I used to live right across the street from Littleton Golf and Tennis, which is an executive course, 18, but it's par 62, I believe.
Yeah. So there's it's just a cool little course. The longest hole was 380 yards. Narrow.
Do you have to hit 3-wood on that hole?
And if you recall, Justin hits it like Bryson, so he definitely had to hit 3-wood on that one.
Gosh. So it was a fun course though. Like, I was walking it with my daughter, and I was like, dude, if I had a house over here, I would totally play this like every day.
Was it like Parkland or more like links, because it was on the coast and everything? I assume links, but
it was kind of linksy. Small greens, so you can get yourself in trouble real quick, but you could run things up. There was a
green size doesn't matter for me, dude. I can make any green size trouble. So
one of the par threes was a 91-yard hole that went down 3 stories basically. So it ended up playing like, I think I tried to hit like almost a 45-yard pitch shot, and I was right at the green. So
yeah,
it was kind of interesting to go play that and then like hike down. There's some cool houses though. Like, there's some really nice houses. One of the houses that was for sale
had a working AC unit. Oh no, we lost him.
Unreal.
Do you think Donnie clipped the wrong wire?
Honestly, I think what happened is that his computer had a heat stroke because he's hogging all the cold air.
At least his balls are cool.
Well, let's just take this. We're losing Teddy too.
What?
We're not. Teddy, you froze. There you are. Remember this, 17:45 for when I got to edit this out.
Okay.
Why don't we take this time to get back on track? Justin's back. Justin, we're
back.
just going to completely ignore whatever you just said for the last 30 seconds.
That's
and we're going to get this we're going to get this train back on the rails for the third time in 5 minutes. The Genesis Scottish Open, taken home by none other than Bobby Mack, the Scot, on a tournament-winning putt on the 18th green. What are your thoughts, Teddy, on the tournament as a whole, plus maybe the break that Bobby Mack got from that sprinkler head in the fescue on 16 to essentially, like, he doesn't have that. He probably, most likely not winning the tournament.
Yeah, that's kind of tough. I will say overall, I thought it was a great appetizer for the main course this week. A lot of good names, some low rounds. I think the wind wasn't really like that crazy for the most part.
There was no wind. What are you talking about? Wind that crazy? There was zero wind.
Yeah, there was some wind.
Justin's still feeling spicy. Got it.
Sprinkler head in the fescue is like wild. I don't need, like, how many other sprinkler heads do they have in the fescue? Is that new fescue? Is it just an old head that they haven't, like, that's been removed from the irrigation and it's just still there? Like, it just makes no sense to have one in a wild, overgrown area.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see like Adam Scott competing. Saw a lot of him over the weekend. Rory was pretty good for the most part. A lot of guys had a shot. So yeah, it was super exciting.
Is
Also, Links Golf is my favorite. I don't know if we've covered that, but I love Links Golf. This is the best time of the year. I'm very excited.
TL2, BBL Drizzy / Links Golf connoisseur.
Yes.
I've never liked Links Golf just because I've like never given the time to like get into it, right? But I think the reason why like I've never really liked it, one, haven't played a lot of it because even though I'm in Oregon, I've never been to Bandon. Yes, I know I'm gonna get just ripped apart for not making the
Loser.
Yeah. The only one that I have really, I mean, Tethero in Bend, and it just eats my lunch every single time we play it. But I think like the creativity and stuff of it, and seeing like how people hit shots this weekend and the different shots that they could hit. But I think we were missing part of the drama that could have unfolded by it not being windy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In both of you guys, as we're talking about Links Golf, we'll start with you, Teddy, but give me your like, in a traditional sense, this is what defines a Links style golf course.
Wide open, either 0 or maybe 3 trees on the property. A lot of overgrown areas, just natural, and then just a lot of subtle hills and mounds throughout the course. And then wind. I want baked out, dead grass, a lot of wind, use the hills, play smart.
I mean, the only thing I might add to that is like, don't we have to add bunkers in there at some point? Because that's
I mean, pop bunkers are cool.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's it.
My favorite strain is called Pop Bunker.
That was not in the pen today, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I think like the only true Link style golf course I've probably played that I could just say, yeah, that's Link is Chambers Bay, and that was like a month and a half ago.
Does that fit pretty the description? I mean, there's only one big ass tree on that entire property, right?
Yeah, and it's nowhere near in play. It's just visible.
Yeah.
Teddy was describing that. It was like, okay, yeah, Chambers Bay. Like that's where I was tracking too. So I like it because of the first characteristic you gave it, Teddy, of being wide open. You know,
it is wide open.
I don't know where the ball's going when I hit it half the time.
So the one thing that like I kind of always think about when it's links, there's this, because I'm reading the course called America. So Tom Coyne, he's talking to David McClay-Kidd, obviously the designer of like a couple of the courses in Bandon, then Campbell and Tethero, etc. Right, like your godfather, Teddy. And he tells him I'm trying to remember the course. Maybe it was Gamble. I think he actually played Gamble with David McClay-Kidd. And he's like, hit your 7-iron right there, and it was 20 yards to the right, and it'll end up right next to the pin. And it just like trickled around and funneled how they described it. And it's like, see, that's cool. Like, I love the creativity because you don't have to just hit a perfect on target shot. Like you could, on a lot of links, you can actually go through and just like hit a punch and be up there correctly.
I think Donnie was looking for you, Justin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did somebody just peek his head back here? Hey, make sure you likes and subscribes to the Pitchmark Collective on YouTube. Okay.
Hey, give him one of the hats. Give him one of the hats.
I would like the hat first. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Did you not get your hat yet?
Oh, that's messed up. That'd be so mean, Teddy. I would just lose it right now.
So yeah, I agree with you, Teddy, on the tournament as a whole. Very good, just entree or appetizer to the main course this week here at Royal Troon. I don't know if you like seeing a score that low at. I guess here's fine, right, at the Scottish Open, but this week.
Yeah, I mean, and it was kind of, it was off and on, just kind of sprinkling. Of course, was playing soft, so like it wasn't. There wasn't a high chance of carnage. I'm hoping for Troon that it's just bright, sunny, and just the wind is just whipping across the entire property, and these guys are just cursing at drones the entire week.
Yeah, if John Rahm isn't cursing something out in Spanish in the middle of Scotland while getting like blown over by wind, I might be a little disappointed.
Now, is it an unfair advantage? Does a club foot have like better grip on turf? Can we do a deep dive into that?
I can't imagine there's an advantage to be had.
I'm gonna add this for next week. I'll follow up. I'll speak with somebody.
We got it. So overall, with the break Bob MacIntyre got on 16, the par 5, to where he
Yes.
essentially ended up being able to move a ball where he may not even got it back into like play right on the fairway to hitting it to 7 feet for eagle to end up tied for the lead on through 16. Just overall thoughts on the rule, the actual situation. I watched the clip, like the full clip of Bob MacIntyre taking his practice swing, and then like he noticed it when he went to address his ball. He's like, "Look under my right foot," or whatever it was. He's like, "I wouldn't even know this was here if I wasn't wearing metal spikes."
Mm,
Just an
Oh,
interesting way it played out. He's like, "Call a rules official." Like you can't. My view is like you can't really blame the player for taking advantage of the rules that have been set in stone for decades. At
yeah.
this
so I
point.
I was listening to it on the radio, and they didn't really explain it all that well.
Hmm.
Of like what was actually going on and why he got the drop. Like they just said that there was a sprinkler head, and he gets his drop, and then they made a huge deal out of Ludwig not even going over there and actually checking it.
I
He's
mean,
like, oh
if
yeah,
a,
Ludwig doesn't care.
Yeah, he called the rules official. I mean,
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
if
defer to the
Bob
rules
McIntyre
official.
just picks up his ball and starts measuring something out, then Ludwig's got to go over there, right? But rules official was involved from the very beginning. Ludwig really just had to worry about trying to make a birdie at some point because he just pooped all down his leg.
yeah, he did. He did. He just crumbled.
Yeah.
There was like what 2 bogeys in a row on that, and even a double at some point, I think.
Is he
So I
shaping up to
had,
be the next Adam Scott?
well,
Oh,
what's
don't put
funny is
that
I
curse
had
on him.
somebody text me and ask if Ludwig is the next Xander. Like, is he the next Xander? I was
Oh,
like, I see where you're going with it,
that's actually a pretty valid
but
comparison.
I don't see like he's already won something.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
that's already kind of takes him out of the Xander category. I
Yeah,
think
but the
Adam
Xander
Scott, I think
category is
that's
majors and like top tenning
well,
everything.
now it is. But
Yeah.
like those first few years when Xander was on tour, like it was just crazy that he wasn't winning anything.
Yeah, he was like top
Um,
5 and had contention, just never closed anything out worth
yeah.
That's true.
like
But
any tournament.
I think Adam Scott, that's a fair comparison. Honestly, like if you were to ask Ludwig, would you take Adam Scott's career? Like, fuck yeah, I take Adam Scott's career.
Yeah,
In a
you ask
second.
any like rookie or sophomore on the PGA Tour, they're like, "Hey, your career's probably gonna look similar to Adam Scott." They're gonna be like, "Cool, great,
Sweet. Yeah, fine with
wonderful."
that.
He just shot 300 to become second. Totally fine with that. Let's do it.
One at Augusta.
Yeah, I mean, he's yeah. Why not?
Still attractive after 20 years on the PGA Tour.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like they both got the looks of really just nice, pretty looking swing,
Yeah,
and maybe have a little trouble down the road closing out tournaments.
sure. That's fine. Might switch to a long putter at some point.
Yeah,
Don't care.
could be anchoring that putter at some point. We'll keep an eye on it. This
Possibly.
this podcast is definitely gonna be around in 15 years, so
We'll
we'll just
revisit this.
we'll remember this. Just remember 2906 to come back to on the time mark, and
Yep.
we'll clip it.
Episode 12. Got it.
Boom.
I don't know what episode this is, but it
I
seems
think
right.
it's like episode 20 something
Oh, is it?
of the whole thing.
Oh,
That's
sure.
that's including episodes without you guys. Because I was
I don't
grinding.
think that.
All right,
I
I
don't. I
created
don't think that
this.
counts. I don't
Yeah,
think that
maybe
counts.
not. Anyways, overall good tournament. I used to be like, Bob Mack, especially when he like flew home and just decided not to play a signature
Yeah, you were
event
not. You were
after
not
winning.
okay with that.
But I'm kind of on his team now. I don't know. Like he's
Do
lefty.
you think? Do you think he withdraws from the Open since he just won? Do you think that's like his new thing?
he's not going to be sober enough to even play.
Yeah.
Like,
Did anybody see his press conference today? Because he
I
was
heard
saying he may not be able to talk during it, is what he
yeah,
said.
he right if he won, he asked the question like, "When's my press conference tomorrow?" And they're like 3 p.m. He's like, "I am not going to be able to drive between now and then." Basically,
Somebody put a puke bucket next to the
yeah,
the seat there.
that poor
At
Uber
puke
driver.
bucket. Can somebody at the puke bucket?
Yeah,
I think I like him now because he's kind of proven it. You know, he's second win this year. Genesis Scottish Open. Like he probably felt more pressure than anybody else going into Sunday
Mm-hmm.
to make a charge and win this tournament, and he did just that.
I don't know,
I mean,
man. I don't know if he. Do you really think he felt the pressure of it? Or
Yes,
I mean, do you think there was more pressure on him than more pressure on Ludwig, who's played like exceptional all year and came close in a few majors already and didn't do it? And then you've also got Colin out there, who like obviously I picked. I was rooting for him to win, but Colin made a couple really bad shots. I mean, he had that. What started his bad run was that wayward left shot that got him up into like above the hole in like just that tall ass grass. And he tried to get out and he went straight into a pot bunker. So he
yeah,
doubled.
yep.
So
Colin likes link style golf. I mean, he's won the Open.
yeah,
I
but I mean he's been so close all year. Like of the people who've got pressure to win, now I honestly think it's more on Colin because he's how many top tens has he had this year? Like
somebody Google that.
the guy's been amazing.
I think it's hard to gauge the crowd, right? And people know Bobby MacIntyre's Scottish. They're following him. They're rooting him on. He's got the
True.
whole country on his back. People in Scotland are watching this because they want to watch Bobby Mack win. And I
Yeah.
think it's very hard to gauge that from a pressure standpoint, but it's got to be significant to the player. If
I
you
think
ask
it
me.
helped though that like I think if you switch Ludwig and McIntyre like going into like Sunday or even the weekend, like McIntyre wasn't real. I mean, he was up there and he was competing, but he didn't have like a two shot lead like
Yeah.
for most of the weekend. So I think it's a little bit easier to kind of forget about that pressure and focus on catching the leader,
Yeah.
posting a number, winning the tournament.
All
But yeah,
while watching the leader crumble.
yeah, I mean that helps.
So here's Collins like since the Masters, tied for third, 9th, 23rd, 16th, 4th, 2nd, 14th, 13th, and 4th.
Listen, you're harping on this Colin thing, and I'm sorry, but it's making me want to do our picks 30,
You're just
33
not
minutes in.
feeling it. I
I am
just think he
picking
has so
Colin
much.
Morikawa as my winner,
You son of
and I
You
get to
are.
go. And I get to go first because I got 2 points last week.
Ah. Oh man.
Hey, we didn't do
I
the point recap on the Scottish Open yet, so
Do you
yeah.
want to go ahead and do it?
I thought
I-
it was super fun. That's my final assessment
Yeah.
of Scottish, and I am going to wake up early and I'm going to watch a lot more of the Open. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to go down that path of being on the same page.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Well, yeah, like Teddy said, this is his favorite championship, is it not? You said that earlier.
Yes, it is number one.
Do you lobby for the idea of them PGA Tour and having these events more so in Europe at these classic courses like this?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think honestly, you can get a pretty good. I mean, shit. Half the time on the DP World Tour, they're playing like some pretty cool courses over there.
Yeah.
So I don't think the PGA Tour needs to go over there more than like the week before and then for the Open. I think there are some options over here where you can play links courses.
Where?
It would be nice for them to do that.
What courses are you thinking? Do you
I mean,
have
I think, yeah, like I really wish that they would go back to Bandon. I know,
Chambers.
I guess, Yeah, the last in Chambers. I think the last one, the last was it the U.S. Open that had at Chambers?
Yeah,
Yep.
Jordan Spieth
Yeah,
won because Dustin
yeah.
Johnson 3-putted.
I watched that like 2 weeks ago. It was pretty bad.
Well, I watched everything I could watch on
Cam
Chambers
watches
before I
it
went.
every week. It's
Yeah,
literally just on his YouTube.
I'm
Reviews.
like, I stepped there. That's where I was
Yeah.
but
in that bunker right there.
it would be cool. I understand why they do like the Dell match play in Austin, but if they were to have some sort of like, I mean, do the Zurich like some sort of other format,
Yeah.
do that at a links course. I think that'd be cool. Because I think that also is like what makes the Ryder Cup so exciting as well, is when they go to one of these links courses and like you have no idea what the weather's going to be. It really doesn't matter like how good you're playing leading up to this event. It's just it can go so many different ways so quickly.
Whistling Straits, perfect example, right? That's
Yeah,
links.
yeah, that's linksy.
It's got way more bunkers than most links courses, from what I've been told, but it is links.
So I've been watching the foreplay Bandon series the last few days. I think that's got to be the next like place I go.
Wait, so
You should.
Foreplay did a Bandon series?
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago during the like they're all wearing masks and shit.
Oh, interesting. I mean, so I've got a
Have
couple
you been,
buddies.
Teddy? You haven't been.
No.
I've got a couple buddies, and they go in the wintertime, and I've had 2 trips planned, and unfortunately, due to like family things,
Right.
I wasn't able to go. But as an Oregon resident, it's only $100 in the wintertime. The shitty part about it right now is that if we go over there in like August, it's $380 plus $150 replays, where it's $100 and then $50
Every
replays.
course is $380.
Yeah.
I see the way I operate in my thought process, like I want to do it all. Like I want to stay at Bandon, I want to stay there. I want to play every course.
Yeah, totally.
Give me the full experience, which just adds to the cost, of course. I'm not an Oregon resident, so Justin, I don't see why you haven't gone out there. It's really disappointing.
Yep, I know. I had a time, my buddy Joey, he's going to listen to this and yell at me. He invited me in February, and my daughter and I had already planned on skiing and some other stuff. So,
do you get any sort of, as a state resident, do you get any sort of booking difference? You know, right? Like for me, if I'm calling, want to plan a trip, they're like, yeah, we're like 2 years out or whatever.
I don't think so. The guys have just always told me that, yeah, they're 2 years out, but if it was like 2 of us going over, it'd be super easy to get on. Especially if you're going over and trying to play and it's like as a single, you could play whenever you want, because there's a lot of people that go out as like a threesome.
So you think like if you were to drive out there, say 1 week, work from a hotel, you went out there every morning, be like, all right, I'm gonna play. I want to play. I'm a single. You get out every day.
From what I've been told, totally possible.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like it. Yeah. One of the guys at the restaurant that like my wife and I will go on dates on, he's a waiter out there, and he just became the head waiter at the new restaurant they put out there. So I could probably hit him up.
Like on property or whatever.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a super nice restaurant. I think they're kind of catering to the bouginess that has started to happen.
The bouginess. You just talked about taking your wife on dates, dude. Who does that?
Some guy with no AC and frozen internet. All right, let's do our point recap for the Genesis Scottish Open. So I've got 2 points this week for picking closest to the cut line at 2 under. Cut line was 4 under, right?
Yeah.
And then I picked DFL. I was closest to with Bernd Wiesberger. Played like trash. I picked Tommy Fleetwood as my winner, which I was happy about. Like he played pretty well.
He looked solid.
Sunday wasn't great for him. He was one of like 12 people that were over par. Unfortunately, shot one over. Justin and Teddy split, so they each get a point for picking closest to the winner. Justin had Morikawa, and Teddy had Rory. So the final or not final, but the now standings for the season-long race for points is Teddy's at 16, I'm at 15, and Justin's at 10.
Wait,
I'm making a comeback.
add.
No,
Add
those are
that.
already added.
I don't think
added
they
them.
are.
They are.
They were.
Are you sure about that? Because it's the
Yeah.
same as the previous score.
No, because you had 16, 13, and 9. So I added 1 for myself, added 2 for Cam. Oh, I didn't add one.
The one on the one when you scroll down, Teddy, those I added up just to make sure. Like, they're
Oh, are you sure?
This is
Teddy,
correct.
I think Teddy's right. He might get 1 more point unless you change that, but we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Anyways, Teddy and I close. Justin's going to need a big couple of weeks here,
But it's possible. It is possible.
Hey, if I pick the tournament winner, we're golden.
Yeah, that I mean, Teddy and I have both done that. You're the only one who hasn't, so that's clearly
because I like to pick the underdog.
Yeah,
came to that conclusion.
Anyways,
but you also could sweep 2 of the other points as well. You're right there. If you have a good week this week, Justin,
I know.
Yep.
I'm not saying.
Look,
I'm just saying.
Look, he went all bug-eyed and froze on him. What perfect timing is that? So let's get into Royal Troon, the Open Championship. Teddy, you were saying you were watching the holes. Seems like you had a pretty nice opinion of the golf course and everything.
Yeah,
so
I was going like hole by hole, and so even at like if I'm playing my absolute best golf, every year for Augusta, I get this false sense of confidence, and I'm like, I could break 80 here. Like if I'm really like a month leading up to it, I'm practicing, I'm putting, I'm hitting balls, I'm on site maybe like a week before, I could break 80. Not playing in the actual tournament because then you got the crowd and everything. But I think if I'm just there and I play a round of golf, I could break 80 there. Watching like a flyover of Royal Troon, if there's more than just the slightest hint of a breeze, there's no way I'm breaking 80. Like just not even, I don't even think if there's any sort of wind, I don't think I'm breaking 90 at this place. If I'm playing peak golf.
Why exactly?
So the first couple holes are supposed to, like the first 3 holes are like somewhat easy.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the tamest holes on the course.
Yeah, and really like the first 6 holes are like the most like scoreable.
Yeah. 7 is when it starts to hurt you.
I don't know if I'm getting through the first 6 holes at 6 over. Like all the greens. So first, all the greens are protected. It's also like the fairways are like a decent width, I guess. But I think what happens sometimes is when you look out and it's pretty open for the most part. Now you still have like all of the fescue and just like bushes everywhere, like right off of, like they'll do a first cut and a second cut, and then it's just shit.
Yeah, 4 foot tall fescue. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you're standing on the tee box and like, okay, yeah, I see the fairway, but like there's not really much else in your eye line. I think the ball can get away from you pretty quickly. So I'm 100% hitting it into shit. At least half of those holes. Might find it, probably won't. And then it's either a lost ball or you're just punching back out into the fairway. And then the greens are all like just the way that they're shaped. You kind of just have to go to the center of the green. Like they're pretty small. And so you can't really pin seek. You just got to try to hit it in the middle of the green. And then just the way all the slopes and how subtle they are, you're probably ripping it off one of the sides or off the front. You're going to go into one of the pot bunkers, whatever. And then the holes just get absolutely like, they get worse as you progress throughout the round. So yeah, it looks like not a fun time. And yeah, I would like to go there. I don't want to play it and then post a score.
Does so you said Ireland in our group chat, right? Of like, that's where you want to go play.
Yes, that would be
And then
Yes.
Scotland, probably.
Yeah. You could do Scotland.
Yeah. I mean, I would live in the fescue, right? I'd be hacking it out, trying to get back in a position off the tee,
Yeah.
probably at least 70% of the time. Justin, what have you looked at when it comes to the course? What do you like about it? What are you looking forward to?
I mean, 7 looks really hard. Then you get to what's the hole with the bunker that's called the not a cathedral. It's something when you die, you lay in and they bury you. What's it called? Can't think of
Casket?
the word. I think it's called something like that. Like it's shaped that way. And I did like golf with Iona or something like that because they did the top like 7 holes that'll make the difference in the Open, and she got in there and like it's 8 feet deep.
You're talking about on the postage stamp hole?
Yeah,
On
on
the
the
par
postage
3?
stamp hole. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's 11, right?
That
8.
8. Yeah.
that reminds me of the bunker on 18 at Chambers Bay that the USGA is like, you have to put a bunker here that's going to be 10 feet deep. I want to say Tiger ended up in it or something. Somebody ended up in it and just completely. Bleh.
It's
there's
just
there's some courses, like there's one in Ocala that has like the postage stamp, like they have a bunch of like replica holes, and even as just a replica hole, like it's either an easy birdie or like it's double so quick, just because of the bunkers and how short it is and like how small the green is.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it'd be fun to go play, but like I hit the ball way too high to play in wind. Like wind just devastates me. So
I love a good right to left wind, to just push my ball on a straight line.
yeah.
But that left to right, dude, it's not a good outcome.
Well, and see, as a lefty, like I fear the
You're
right to
opposite.
left.
Yeah.
Like right to
You're
left
opposite.
just devastates me because the ball just keeps going and going and going, and then I'm in the other fairway.
Really, what it's off the tee for me. Like I just my driver's so high, and then also it has a lot of spin on it, right? Usually, like when we get into the irons and the short game, I can flight them pretty well relative to my actual like skill level, right, of golf. Teddy, are you good at making those adjustments with wind? Flighting your shots, maybe
Yeah, I
knocking
prefer.
down a 7 rather than hitting an 8 or a 6, whatever it would be. You're frozen. I got all distracted. God dang it.
Sorry. The preferred shot for me is a lower flighted, like 85% of the next iron up.
So you play that
Like I
pretty
just
normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually the stock shot for me.
Your stock
Interesting.
shot is
Okay.
85%.
Yeah. Higher iron and then just hit it a little low.
So that's what Nelly Corda does as well. I was
I
listening.
have
Nelly
to
are
imagine. I have to imagine a lot of pros play that way
probably. Yeah.
because
Well, like
of
Nelly
your.
Corda was just like, I just love the sawed off finish and trying to flight it in. Like I just hit
Mhm.
all my lower irons that way.
It's just easier to control. You're taking a majority of the spin off of it to where it's just going to hit and stop. You're not worrying about having it, rip back on you. And yeah, I just feel like
It's also a sick ball flight. Like when you strike one well, you're like, that was sick. Like you
it
could be like,
sounds better.
it's 13 yards left of the green, but it just looks sick.
Yeah.
I'm a big look guy when it comes to like golf shots. I'm like, I don't care where that ends up. That looks awesome. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be waking up probably pretty early, at least on Saturday and Sunday, to watch it, staying up maybe Thursday, Friday. It's just tough, right? Because of the time change, being up at 2 a.m. watching golf.
Yeah. It's not as bad for us over here on the East Coast.
Mhm.
So really just kind of wake up a little bit earlier. Yeah.
I was happy with Sunday's round at the Scottish Open. Like it worked out perfectly for me to catch the like last 6 holes, after church and everything. Because I didn't play any golf this weekend. Because if I did, then I wouldn't be able to see any of it really. But yeah, the Opens, it's slowly growing on me. I wasn't right there with you, Teddy, thinking it was the best one, but I mean, it definitely grows on me, especially as we talk about it. Like the courses are just so much different than what they're playing on tour from the U.S. Opens, from all the other majors. So I'm low key excited for it.
I think for me, one, it's the golf courses, but also like when I was growing up and starting to get into golf, like just watching Tiger wear like sweater vests and a mock turtleneck and then hitting these like stingers. Like, how
Mhm.
can you not?
Oh, you are speaking Cam's language.
Dude,
He is
Yes.
just like getting so
Like,
frothy thinking about Tiger right now.
I sent you
Ah.
that screenshot of him, and I'm like, I have to have this crew neck that he's wearing. That like
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
almost like a mix of mint and lime green. Oh,
Mhm.
green's my favorite color. Like
But just when,
Tiger wore
yeah,
that, he's like, Cam at the Pitchmark Collective is going to be erect once he sees this.
but he'd wear like either that white or navy, like long sleeve mock,
Yep.
and then a gray, like heather sweater vest. Like, and then just watching him hit these like 3/4 stingers that roll like 320 yards up
Mhm.
onto the green. Like, fuck yeah, I want to play links golf. Like, I mean, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I think that also like played a part in my
The
love
field was
of links. Yeah,
It's
and
funny.
to see the Tiger fits.
My
That's
but
it.
my buddy who's like a 17 handicap was in Scotland for his like family reunion that his aunt just paid for, and he played golf, not at anywhere crazy. And he's like, yeah, I shot. I think he stopped counting.
Yeah.
He's like, it was like 116, and just
Well,
like,
what's crazy is like even just the muni courses. Well, I mean, most of the courses that are on the open rotation are munis, but just any little like shithole course that would be like for them over there is still leagues better than like what most people play
yeah.
on a daily basis over
And
here.
that's why I told him, I'm like, yeah, if you can get on to like the old course or
Sure.
Kings, whatever, like go do it. But like, even if you play the Muni, like you're still gonna have a great time. It's gonna be an awesome course. Like these people love golf probably more than American golfers, right? Like this is where it was
And
born.
they're all pretty similar. Like there's not a huge variance from course to course. All of these famous courses were built so long ago that like most of the time these other like more local courses to where like these people are living, they're just kind of basing off like when they're building them, they're just kind of basing them off of the other ones that they had seen
Mm-hmm.
20 years prior. So they're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my ideal golf trip.
Justin, anything you want to add to the Open Championship here? I mean, you hate links golf. We understand that.
Covered that.
You know,
I'm
have you
I'm
looked
I'm
at the
moving
course?
towards it. I have this hatred for wind, and I think it just fed into the Open Championship as well. But I did have a good time watching the Scottish Open, and I am much more intrigued about the Open coming up than I ever have been. So I'm pretty
That's all we
stoked
can
to
ask for.
actually watch it. So
Hashtag grow
and
the game.
with the wind, I mean, they were talking during the Scottish, they were talking about some of the wind that was coming up for next week
Mm-hmm.
for the Open, and they were talking about 20-mile-an-hour winds like all day long,
Yeah. Yeah. I
and
want.
like just being crazy.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a very. I'd probably guess like maybe 8 to 10 under par would be like a good winning score based off of what weather we're expecting, and also
Mm-hmm.
what happened the last time they were at Troon, which I was wanting to talk about because I'm not sure if you guys are aware uh, of it all. You know, in 2016, um, so Henrik Stenson won with Phil
Yeah,
Mickelson second place. Stenson went 8 under on Sunday. Phil went 6 under. Stenson
it was
finished
a
at
battle.
20 under par. Between those two, this is where I'm getting at. Between those two was a battle because third place was JB Holmes at 6 under.
Kind of
11,
forgot about JB Holmes.
11
JB Holmes,
strokes between second and third.
huh?
14 between first and third. So were Phil and Stenson just on another level that week and just went bananas
Yes.
and in like we're outliers, because that's crazy.
You know,
I think the scores show that.
You know, it's
Yeah,
funny.
I don't know why I asked the question, but I was committed at that point. So
we talk about like yardage and length of course so much, and everyone, like, whenever you watch a link style course being played, you see like Rory drive 3 of the greens, right? Or
Mhm.
you see like a 420-yard par 4 that all of a sudden someone just scooted it all the way up to the front, and you're like, gosh, these courses are short, right? But Royal Troon is actually 7,300 yards.
Mhm.
Like, I had no idea until I started looking at this last week, where I was like, oh, some of these links courses are actually over 7,000 yards, but depending on where the wind is coming from, they either
they're
play
inevitably
super
going to
long
get some
or
help.
super short.
They're
Yeah.
going to get some help on some holes, and it's going to be directly in their face and others. That's how it was at Chambers. Not comparing Chambers to the Open Championship, but like the first 4 holes, I'm like, I'm hitting every shot just directly into the wind. And then all of a sudden you take a 180 turn and you get a 30 mile an hour gust helping you off the tee. And you're like, I just hit that 400 yards. It felt like,
Yeah.
I'm going to birdie this hole. Then you hosel it, into the shit, your second shot.
It happens.
So yeah, they're gonna be hitting like 2 irons off tee to keep it low into the wind, and then the next tee box they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're bombing this to the green because we have the wind at our back now.
Yep.
So I like the balance that wind can give you, because like, yeah, it's gonna probably make it more tough in the long run, right? Than it will help them, but it's not like it's just gonna completely batter them, from a shot perspective, 100% of the time.
Yep. So here, before we get into like picks for it, Thursday is supposed to be 70 degrees with 8-mile-an-hour winds, 7% chance of rain. Friday, 50% chance of rain, 11-mile-an-hour winds, and 68 degrees. Then Saturday and Sunday are both like just clear skies, 63 degrees, but 15-mile-an-hour constant winds with a 30 and a 50% chance of rain on each of the days on Saturday and Sunday. So Sunday could get to be pretty hairy with some wind gusts and rain.
I kind of like it when it plays out. The weather's like just going to gradually get worse, as it goes on.
Yeah.
Because like they come out Thursday, like, yeah, I shot 4 under par, dude. We're cruising, like we're looking good. And then they wake up Friday and they're like, now they just ended up 2 over par for the total tournament because the weather played that much of a role, in them sucking. It's like JT went 8 under to have the round 1 lead, and then
that was crazy.
A little spit of wind, and he finishes like.
I told you,
40th.
don't count on JT for anything at this point. It is so.
He had that new putter rolling, that Scotty Cameron he put on the bag.
I liked it. I know Justin, you didn't like it. I was a fan.
I just think the new Scotties, like on the pictures, I've never seen them in person, right? So this is just going off of picture value. I think they look like almost like a Tour Edge. I think they look cheap for some reason, but
it's pretty disrespectful. But
I know, and I'm a huge Scotty fan, so it's like it's hard. But I looked at it, and I'm like, man, it just looks so cheap to me. But yeah,
and honestly, it just reminded me of a Spider. I'm like, that's just like, it just looks like maybe a tailor-made Spider that they just kind of tweaked a little bit shape-wise.
Well, that's what Scotty's pretty good at doing that.
Yeah, but no, I liked it too, Teddy. But I'm a big Scotty guy.
We know.
So
certified Scotty Stan.
Certified Scotty Stan. Hey, before we get our picks in, listeners, if you're still there,
follow us on
Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. If you so choose, you can also go follow Scotty Cameron.
Wait, are we on Apple Podcasts yet?
We can talk about that after the show because it is the worst platform to try and get this going on. So
that's hilarious. All right, Cam, you earned the picks. So who you?
It seems like we've been doing cut line, then DFL, then winner, right? That kind of order we've settled on. So the cut line last time they were at Troon was 4 over par. Judging by the weather, you said, I think it's, these guys are just getting better every year. I'm going to say the cut line is going to be 3 over par.
Okay. Justin is shocked at that.
I think it would be you, Teddy, based off last week. You had the most points between you two.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go one over. I'm gonna go one over. I think they're yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do it.
What do you think the
I'm
low
going
score is going to be on Thursday?
on Thursday. I think somebody's just gonna go dumb. I think there's gonna be like a handful of 6, 7, 8 unders.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be probably 10 guys at that 6 under or better mark. So yeah.
+3, +1. Shoot.
I will say this is what I would do if I was in Justin's situation. I would go +4. I would go the opposite of what Teddy
Yeah,
did.
don't get sandwiched. Don't get
sandwiched.
sandwiched.
That's
Well,
the worst thing you could do. We're trying to help you, Justin.
Yeah, I know, but I was also thinking, like, I was looking at some of the scores, and last year was +4, but the year before that was +1. Then it went +2, then it went even, then it went +4 again. And I think it all is dependent on, like, on the weather, right? So, and the weather looks kind of mild, so it's like, could there potentially be an even cut line? Maybe.
I'd be fine with that too. Like if you're on, don't sandwich, bookend. That's what you need to do right here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, +4 is big, so
That's what
So
it was
is
the
even.
last time I was here.
yeah, I know. You're kind of going on the larges of both sides. I'm gonna regret this. Let's just go +4.
Ooh, he did it.
I did it.
Hey,
I don't think that's a bad pick though, Justin. I think it's gonna go either way. Jesus Christ.
I did one bit.
I really wish my internet didn't suck so much. So
So now we're
all right. Who's going first for DFL?
Me, dude.
Cameron.
Come on now. Listen,
How many weeks have we been doing this?
I'm just hoping I get thrown a bone.
I saw him. Do you want DFL first?
No.
I will concede. I'll concede to you, Justin. You can have the first DFL pick.
First DFL pick? Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
Teddy, I'll concede to you as well.
So we can't pick like the senior guys. So no like John Daly's.
Fuck.
No, yeah. Well, so we just got blocked off of Apple Podcast. Thanks, Teddy. And we can't pick any of the AMs, right?
I would say at this point, like, let's just do AMs. You can pick whoever you want outside of the amateurs.
Okay,
that's just me.
Like the senior guys, so like we could pick John Daly if we want.
You can pick whoever you want as long as they don't have a little A in parentheses next to their name. All right, dude?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm picking John Daly.
I hope he makes a cut.
I mean, he's won an open before, you know.
He has, but he
no, never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
What where are we going with that one, Cam?
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm not trying to make a clip for you, Teddy.
Fair enough.
All right, Teddy.
I'm gonna go. You know, there's like some bigger names that like it's possible that John Daly beats them. Now, what about like if somebody withdraws from the tournament? Because I feel like John Daly.
That's actually what I'm scared of.
Yeah. So how do we want to treat that?
That's why I was saying no seniors and no AMs, because it kind of takes that out. I honestly think the seniors we shouldn't be able to pick.
Put it to a vote.
No seniors.
No seniors.
Okay, say 2v1. Got it.
Yeah.
Repick, Justin.
Repick. All right. I am going with let's see here. Mike Hendry.
Who?
Mike Hendry. Hendry. Sorry, broski.
Who is that?
That's the reason why he's DFL, buddy.
I've never heard that name before in my life.
I was actually thinking about saying Tiger Woods just so that Cameron would like lose his.
I mean,
he's a Kiwi from New Zealand.
It's not Tiger wouldn't be.
Hey,
a stupid pick.
Tiger Woods is making the cut. Stand down.
I mean, I hope
Yes.
and I think so too, but also it could go south.
I hope
He's an
so.
old guy.
I hope he makes the cut. I know he's not going to.
I'm gonna go Phil.
Phil Mickelson as DFL.
Yep.
Ooh, shots fired.
Wow. Wow. He was second the last time it was here.
Yep.
Hey, real quick.
Uh,
I really enjoyed the first 9 holes of him playing Grant Horvat. It was really good. Phil is
I
very
haven't
good.
watched that.
Phil is very good on YouTube. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah.
one of his other shows. I mean, he's
very
really good at all that kind of stuff, actually.
He's so good.
Like the Capital won the match and stuff. I thought he was great.
He's so technical and just like
Yeah.
understands how to explain the shot and the swing in like a way that a Neanderthal could understand it.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate. Okay, I like Phil's growing on me too. I used to not be like the biggest Phil guy. He's growing on me. So you kind of offended me, Teddy, as a newly founded.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
You know,
It
this
was either
guy.
Tiger or Phil who was going to be the lesser.
One of the very few clips I saw from Live Golf this week. This gentleman threw a club out of anger. He's young. I'm picking Abraham Answer.
Mm.
I like it.
Solely because he threw a club.
Shots
And I
fired
really-
at Live.
I really enjoyed the clip.
You think the AI bot would grab that? Shots fired
It was
at
like
Liv?
a full-blown two-handed chuck.
Oh, it was a good one.
It was a good one.
All right,
Shout
so
out to Sergio, won in a playoff. First Live.
Shout out to Spain.
his teammate.
They cleaned up. They won the Europe Cup, the Euro Cup. Alcaraz dog walked the
Joker.
Other guy. The Joker. And then Sergio won Live. Spain they're on top right now, dude. Watch out.
And Range Goats didn't finish last this week, contrary to popular belief by our Instagram post.
The range goat need to be doing more range goating. That's all I'm saying.
Cam, all of this Spain love leads us to picking our winners. Does this have any indication on who you might be picking?
Listen, it does not. Cam is going to pick the 6th best golfer in the world, Colin Morikawa, for his outright winner at the Open Championship at Royal Troon.
Oof. Got
Bigly.
All right, Teddy. You forget your pick already?
Forget it. I haven't even made it yet. I forgot about Andy Ogletree. I should have picked him to finish last. You know, Colin's a good pick. He's been playing well. It's tough because, I mean, Scotty's playing, right? Like, do we stop picking Scotty? This is like the first time, like with his betting odds, that I've like kind of actually thought about putting money on him because it's kind of worth it. I would have preferred for him to play in the Genesis and get at least like let us see something going into the tournament. At least these sorts of conditions. So I would say I'm very torn between picking Rory again. I loved how he looked last week. Or Scotty Scheffler. I'm going to go Scotty.
Teddy froze. He's going Scotty.
I didn't freeze. That was just a pause for a dramatic effect.
I mean, you kind of got to pick him, right?
What I do with these picks is like, all right, let me pick like a top 10 guy. Like, why wouldn't you pick a top 10 guy? But in my head, I also play a game like, who could sneaky come up here and win this?
Yeah.
And I almost said Tyrrell Hatton. I almost said it.
That wouldn't be a bad pick.
All right, so I got Colin.
What's your thoughts on Bryson for this?
Teddy's got Scotty.
Bryson doesn't have the game for the Open?
He's not winning this week.
That's the easy answer, by the way, everyone.
Yeah. He could be top 10, sure.
I don't think you
he
can ever
could
just
compete.
fully rule him out, right? But is he gonna be able to flight his shots with the same accuracy that he hits his full ones with? When it comes to winning,
Yes.
is he gonna be able to be creative?
I mean, I
In that
think that's
sense?
where like him and Hovland have their issues is with their wedge games and creativity with those.
Did you see the shot that he hit with a 50-degree wedge from 50 yards at the U.S.
Yes.
Open to
It was
put
in
the
a bunker.
nail?
It wasn't on grass. Different story.
It's a wedge, bruh.
I mean,
like if somebody said I put money on Bryson, I'd be like, that's fine. I'm totally fine with you
Sure.
putting a few units on Bryson to win. Now,
I mean,
I'm not going to pick him in
No.
our podcast, pick him, but
I'm also not putting any money.
I really want Rory to win. I don't know if he's capable of the Open at this point with that big of a win.
So no Rory.
There could be a really cool pick. And then
I thought one of us was picking Rory.
And sneaky is Ludwig, which is crazy. And then you got Wyndham Clark up there, which is like no one's even paying attention to. But it is kind of interesting to see like those three right there that no one's picked, right? We've got Scotty on the bookmark and we've got Colin, and then we've got Rory, Xander, and Ludwig.
No Xander. Ludwig, it's possible.
Could he bounce back from the fall that he had last week? That would be.
I think so.
He's young enough; he might not have the scar tissue.
Oh, for sure. Well, he's Adam Scott. He hasn't switched to the long putter yet. There's zero scar tissue.
Someone at the Red Hot Chili Peppers, please.
And then you got Rory, who scar tissue and all, but he also has the wins.
You keep saying scar tissue. I'm gonna keep coming up with these dumbass jokes.
There's only that's the only one you could make.
That's also
all
true.
right. I tell myself this every time. I'm going to go with the highest ranked person that is on here, and that's Rory. So,
yeah,
good job.
I thought for sure one of you guys were going Rory. I don't think he's almost like Scotty. Like it's not a bad pick at any point in time.
No.
I mean, he's playing good too. I mean, and
he's playing good.
The fact he didn't win the Genesis could be a good lead.
Correct.
To a great weekend for him.
I agree. I was happy that he didn't end up winning.
Rory McIlroy. He could be best this week and win. He could. Some are saying
he could do it.
All right.
So we got our picks in. The Open Championship week, final major of the year. I think that's all we got this week.
What do you mean?
For the podcast, for our listeners.
Yeah, I didn't even know we were recording this whole time. I just want to do a special shout out to Victor Hovland with his recent interview. So I picked him, for all of those listening. I picked him to win last week. He thinks about like the meaning of life, essentially, like as he's playing golf, and what happens after you die. Scientifically, that's going through his head. I put money on him. I don't know why. I didn't realize how crazy he was. And I just think everybody else should know.
Even during COVID, he was the guy who was actually driving a van around everywhere to every tournament.
Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he was doing his laundry at the country clubs that he would actually show up to. It's kind of interesting. He's an interesting guy.
I don't know where I saw this, but I saw somewhere he said that he had his agent and his, as these guys say, their team look into moving to live. And he said ultimately decided not to because he just didn't like the product that they're putting out.
Good to see that. So, all right, guys.
You could give me poop on toilet paper for $150 million and say this is a great product.
That's what
we could give you.
Players have done.
Pooped out cookout on toilet paper.
Yeah. I got to roll. My boy Donnie is out there finishing up my bid. So we're gonna see how many Titleist drivers I have to give him. Might be a few years before I update my clips
We'll,
now.
we'll be looking out for the text coming in about what the bid comes in at.
With all capital letters.
For our listeners, thank you for listening. We're the Pitchmark Collective on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. We'll talk to you next week.